the problem with his contract, Stephen A., as you said, 3 years from now, he's making $44 million. He's 33 and slowing down now. He'll be 36 then. But does that mean there's no team who would take him? No, I don't think so. There are teams who are in positions now of high leverage, meaning maybe we'll foot the bill. It's like a tax bill we'll pay later on in order to get the value from a very good player now. How would Chris Paul do on the Lakers, Stephen A., with LeBron and AD?
It would be lovely.
That, I'm saying that if Kawhi goes to the Clippers, they win. Unless if the Lakers got Chris Paul, maybe I would say over the next 2 years, they're going to be really, really tough to beat. 3 years from now, it's going to be a mess. But over the next year and a half, 2 years, really tough to beat. So I think there are teams out there who will look at Chris Paul and say, we're going to have to pay that bill later, but right now he's still really good. And you can get him for a song. You can get him for probably just expiring deals if you have them. And then you have an all-star, still caliber player on your team.
Wait, remind me of his deal again. So what is it, Stephen A.? How many years he has left?
He has 2 years left and then a player option on the third year. He's making $38 million next year, 41 the year after, 44 in that player option final year of his deal.
So he won't be worth the 44. But if you're at a high leverage moment and you're a team, would you pay luxury tax and $40 million a year over the next 2 years to put you over the top?
Let me throw this out as a potential option for you. You're the Philadelphia 76ers. You're on the record saying that you want to keep Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
But from what I'm being told, folks are finding it difficult that they'll be able to coexist. It's not that anybody dislikes each other or all of that stuff. It's that, again, Ben Simmons, you don't want to let him go. His youth and his potential. Joel Embiid, you know what he brings to the table. Tobias Harris, J.J. Redick, Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler is having a discussion, which I've personally been told, Jimmy Butler and James Harden have been talking to one another about Jimmy Butler coming to Houston. Yeah, you could go to Houston as a free agent, or you could sign and trade. All I'm saying to you is this. If you are the Philadelphia 76ers and you believe you're going to use Jimmy Butler, again, I gotta look up the rule again to see how exactly it could work. But considering the kind of money that Jimmy Butler is going to want, if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers and I can get my hands on CP3 to run that offense.
By the way, I agree, because you can take, now you have Ben Simmons learning the game from Chris Paul. If Ben Simmons has a problem in terms of work ethic compared to the best players in the league, that'll get fixed if Chris Paul.
But why do you think Philly would take that contract?
Well, first of all, that's again because if you're going to pay Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler is interested in leaving, then excuse me, you got a Chris Paul, and here's where the Ben Simmons Chris Paul angle works. Unlike with James Harden in Houston, Chris Paul ain't gonna mind being off the ball with Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons is looking to pass because he can't shoot like a James Harden could shoot. Now, that's a different scenario. The only problem with that, Max, is that you're talking about revisiting a J.J. Redick-Chris Paul combination, which to me doesn't necessarily work.
Why you have to revisit Redick? He doesn't have a long-term deal. Get rid of him.
Do you really? I mean, Redick can really shoot.
No, by the way, I disagree with everyone on Redick.
And Redick's movement without the ball, I got to give – and there's nobody that can shoot threes on the run better than Redick.
Look, Redick does some, as you've mentioned, does some things very, very well. His transition defense was awful all year.
Yes.
And considering what he's been making on short deals recently, you may have to overpay him.
But those are correctable.
But like guys like Tobias Harris and J.J. Redick, you can get shooters who you don't have to pay like stars. Tobias Harris, J.J. Redick are just shooters who you have to pay like stars.
I don't know about that, because even though I really, really, really like Tobias Harris, who can shoot. But he's really a scorer, not a shooter. J.J. Redick is a sniper.
Agreed.
J.J. Redick is a sniper.
Agreed. But Tobias Harris, like J.J. Redick, is a bad defender.
Listen, I need snipers, Max. They're valuable. I need snipers now.
Look, Danny Green.
Redick can be on my team any day of the week.
Danny Green is a sniper. He plays defense. He's going to cost half as much as either one of those guys. Mirotic is a sniper.
Danny Green's a sniper?
Mirotic is a sniper who is capable of playing defense. He's in his prime. He's going to cost less than those guys.
Danny Green can shoot spot-up threes. He can make the three-pointer. But he cannot move, nor does he move without the basketball.
I agree
like J.J. Redick does.
He's a better player than J.J. Redick.
Listen to this.
Defense.
So here's the deal. The combination of being a sniper, with the movement without the basketball is what makes you that elite guy. I think J.J. Redick is an elite shooter.
Yeah.
I'm not letting J.J. Redick go.
Let's not get lost in the weeds. I want to get back to your point about CP3. One thing that's being kind of overlooked at this point, because he's off the ball so much, is how good CP3 is off the ball. He's excellent. I think the problem is that if James Harden isn't doing a lot when CP3 has the ball, he's like, come on, man. Like, how am I supposed to run the offense if when James Harden's off the ball, he's not interested? But CP3 off the ball is quite good. And on the ball, we all know what he can do, even in decline. He makes some sense on the Sixers. That's what I mean. There are teams around the league who will look at CP3 and say, we need to get over the top. Maybe he can get us there. He won't be a Rocket to start the season.
I think it's still possible he will be. I really do, because I don't think the Houston Rockets are going to get what they want. If they get what they want and they have to sacrifice CP3 to do it, it'll happen. I just don't think that'll happen. I don't think that'll happen.
If you get cap relief in the form of an expiring deal, one serviceable player, maybe a draft
Wait, you
pick,
said you
plenty.
don't think Chris Paul is going to be a Rocket next year.
I think there's going to be some team that could
It's a big domino.
that could use him. Yep.
Okay.
J.J. Redick, by the way, last year did $12.2 million last year. Vastly underpaid.
Redick at 12.2?
Let me tell you.
Paid just right.
No, absolutely. In today's NBA economy with the elevated cap, that's why you see these guys getting money.
If J.J. Redick could defend in transition, maybe they win.
I can't wait for this free agency.
There's plenty of guys that can't defend but can put up points, and they get paid
way
triple what
better
he's
than
getting
your
paid.
soap opera, Brick.
You know?
All these moving parts.
Well,
this
I
is way
wouldn't
more
go that
exciting.
far.
Well, you're right. If J.J. Redick could defend in transition, he'd be worth
Brick,
Kawhi, where are you going?
Say,
KD, where are you going?
watch your mouth.
CP3.
I don't know if the soap opera is better than Brick at General Hospital. I think you're going too far there. You're going too far.
You may have gone too far, Molly.
I think you're going too far.
Okay, because you watch a lot of soaps.
But by the way,
you and my grandmother.
I grew up with my Bubba showing me, watching the Guiding Light with my Bubba.
Today's NBA, J.J. Redick is worth $20 million a year.
Okay.
In today's NBA, yes, he is.
All right, let's let the
20.
J.J. Redick
God
combo
bless him
go.
if he
This
can get
isn't
the money.
a
I wouldn't
topic
give
in
it
the
to him,
show,
but okay.
everybody.